Hello, and welcome to the Essential Reads podcast. My name is Isaac, and my goal is to bring you a bunch of classic audiobooks in an easy and accessible way. We're continuing, or finally, starting The Scarlet Letter today by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Last episode was the introductory chapter, which takes up 15% of the book, and I'm still not quite over it. But today, we actually get into the book. Let's get started. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Chapter 1. The Prison Door. A throng of bearded men, in sad-coloured garments, and grey steeple-crowned hats, intermixed with women, some wearing hoods, and others bareheaded, was assembled in front of a wooden edifice, the door of which was heavily timbered with oak and studded with iron spikes. The founders of a new colony, whatever utopia of human virtue and happiness they might originally project, have invariably recognised among their earliest practical necessities to allot a portion of the virgin soil as a cemetery, and another portion as the site of a prison. In accordance with this rule, it may be safely assumed that the forefathers of Boston had built the first prison house somewhere in the vicinity of Cornhill, almost as seasonably as they marked out the first burial ground on Isaac Johnson's lot, and round about his grave, which subsequently became the nucleus of all congregated sepulchres in the old churchyard of King's Chapel. Certain it was that some 15 or 20 years after the settlement of the town, the wooden jailhouse was already marked with weather stains and other indications of age, which gave yet a darker aspect to this beetle-browed and gloomy front. The rust on the ponderous ironwork of its oaken door looked more antique than anything else in the New World. Like all that pertains to crime, it seemed never to have known a youthful error. Before this ugly edifice, and between it and the wheel track of the street, was a grass plot, much overgrown with burdock, pigweed, apple prue, and unsightly vegetation, which evidently found something congenial in the soil that had so early borne the black flower of civilized society, a prison. But on one side of this portal, and rooted at almost the threshold, was a wild rose bush, covered, in this month of June, with its delicate gems, which might be imagined to offer their fragrance and fragile beauty to the prisoner as he went in, and to the condemned criminal as he came forth through his doom, in token that the deep heart of nature could pity and be kind to him. This rosebush, by strange chance, had been kept alive in history, but whether it had merely survived out of the stern old wilderness, so long after the fall of gigantic pines and oaks that originally overshadowed it, or whether, as there is fair authority for believing, it had sprung up under the footsteps of the sainted Anne Hutchinson as she entered the prison door, we shall not take upon us to determine. Finding it so directly on the threshold of our narrative, which is now about to find issue from that inauspicious portal, we could hardly do otherwise than pluck one of its flowers and present it to the reader. It may serve, let us hope, to symbolize some sweet moral blossom that may be found along the track, or relieve the darkening close of a tale of human frailty and sorrow. Thank you so very much for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, share, all that jazz, and if you really enjoyed, do subscribe because there's more to come. And if you're listening on podcast, please leave a review. It really helps this get in front of as many people as possible, which would be fantastic. I love doing nothing more than this, and the more reviews you leave, the more likes, subscribes, all that, allows me to turn this into not just a passion, but my job. I've decided to read the majority of the book in my British accent instead of continuing with that the accent I did for the introductory chapter, as the majority of the book is written in the third person, and I just find it easier to do it that way, and you'll probably have a better listening experience than me trying to do that accent for the entirety of the whole book. It's 192 pages. I've already done 13. I ain't gonna do more. Let me know what you think of that decision. I'm going to stick with it, because the book will be finished by the time you watch this, so I'm not going to go back and change it. Once again, thank you for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.